Hello, it's Mrs. Nelson, and I have a fun chapter book for us, so let's go ahead and check it out. Today I have Ashlee Small and Ashlee Tall. This is called Brushes and Basketballs is the name of this chapter book. It's written by Michelle Jakubowski. This is a third grade level book, and I do have this book available in both the Lincoln and the Roosevelt Media Centers. This book has 6 chapters. In this video today, I'm going to read chapters 1, 2, and 3. I will make a video for chapters 4, 5, and 6, so you can enjoy the whole book in 2 videos. Ashlee Sanchez may be small, but she's mighty. She likes to play all types of games, from sports to video games. But she loves to win. Ash may be loud and silly, but more than anything, she is a good friend. Ashlee Taylor, otherwise known as Lee, is tall and graceful. When Lee is not twirling around in her dance classes, she can be found drawing or painting. Lee may be shy around new people, but she is as sweet and kind as could be. Chapter 1, Busy Girls. 8-year-old Ashlee Sanchez and Ashlee Taylor were best friends. Although some knew them as Ashlee Small and Ashlee Tall, most people called them Ash and Lee. Ash and Lee were different in many ways. Ash was small and liked sports. Lee was tall and liked to dance. One thing they both liked was playing at the park. Lee and Ash had lived across the hall from each other in the same apartment building until a month ago. Then Lee and her family moved to a house nearby. Their favorite park was in between Ash's apartment building and Lee's new house. "Let's play hot lava," Ash said when they got to the park. She raced to the top of the slide. "Okay," Lee said. She ran up behind Ash and looked around. "The ground is lava. We can't touch it. Let's see if we can make it all the way to that bench." She pointed to the far edge of the park. "Got it? Let's go," Ash said. Ash was small, but she was strong. When she reached the bottom of the slide, she jumped across the monkey bars. Her feet never touched the ground, and she climbed along the jungle gym. Lee was graceful. She had long legs. At the bottom of the slide, she leapt toward the merry-go-round. When she landed, it turned just enough for her to reach the swing. Lee was able to stretch her long arms and legs and climb onto the swing. From the jungle gym and the swing, Ash and Lee needed to jump the same distance to reach the bench. Lee asked, "Hey, Ash, are you ready to jump?" "Let's count to 3, Ash said. 1, 2, 3. The girls jumped as far as they could. They both landed in the grass in front of the bench. Ash did not like to lose. At first, she was mad that she had not made it to the bench. Then she saw Lee rolling around in the grass, acting silly. "Ah, the lava is so hot," Lee yelled. She waved her arms in the air. Ash laughed. She threw her arms into the air, too. "I'm melting," she called. The girls laughed and giggled. "Let's try to reach something closer," Ash said. Lee agreed. They went back to the slide and started over again. After a while, their moms called them over. Mrs. Sanchez and Mrs. Taylor were best friends, just like Ash and Lee. They liked to visit each other at the park while the girls played. "It's time to head home, Lee," Mrs. Taylor said. "Maybe we can play on Wednesday." Ash asked hopefully. Lee shook her head. "I've got dance. How about Friday?" "I've got a basketball game," Ash said. Ash and Lee frowned. Why was it so hard to find time to get together? "I'm sure we can figure something out," Mrs. Sanchez told the girls. They said goodbye and headed in different directions. As they walked away, Ash and Lee looked back at each other and waved. Neither of them liked that they didn't know when they would see each other again. Chapter 2, A Great Idea. A week and a half later, Lee's family went to Ash's house for dinner. Mrs. Sanchez opened the door. Ash raced past him. She wrapped her arms around Lee, who stood in the doorway with her family. Lee giggled and hugged her back. You two act as if you haven't seen each other in years, Mrs. Sanchez laughed. It feels like it, Ash said. We used to see each other every day. It's bad enough that we're not in the same class. Now we don't ride the same bus. Lee nodded and followed Ash to the dining room table. Mrs. Sanchez was a very good cook. She liked to make spicy food. Ash loved spicy food. Lee did not. Mrs. Sanchez always made a special plate for Lee that was just the way she liked it. Ash ate quickly. She wanted to go play. Lee took her time. When Lee finally finished, Mrs. Sanchez said, Lee, I made your favorite chocolate chip cookies. Lee smiled. She loved anything with chocolate. Ash really didn't like sweets, so she didn't have any cookies. While Lee enjoyed her dessert, Ash grew bored. To pass the time, Ash made funny faces at her brother, Sam. He laughed and clapped his hands. As Ash made sillier and sillier faces, Sam laughed more and more. He got so excited, he grabbed a handful of crumbs off of his tray and he threw them into the air. The crumbs landed on Lee's older sister, Mallory. Hey, Mallory cried, picking crumbs out of her hair. Ash and Lee tried not to laugh, but they couldn't help it. Mallory looked so funny with crumbs all over her. Mrs. Sanchez jumped up to help clean off Mallory. Why don't you two go outside to play? She said with Ash and Lee. Ash and Lee hopped up. They hurried down the hall to Ash's room. Did you see Mallory's face? Lee asked. She spent an hour doing her hair before we came over. Ash began to feel bad. I hope she's not mad. Lee shook her head. My parents said she could go to the movies with her friends after dinner. She will forget all about it. Lee looked around Ash's room. Something seemed different since the last time she'd been there. Is that a new blanket? Lee asked. Yep, Ash said, and new curtains. Lee frowned. I guess it's been a long time since I've been here. Ash frowned too. It has. I wish you still lived across the hall. I miss you. I miss you too, Lee told her. I wish we could spend more time together. Me too, but we are both so busy, Ash said. Suddenly, Lee had an idea. Hey, what if we did an activity together? Then we can see each other all the time. Great idea, Ash said, a big smile on her face. I bet finding something we both like to do will be easy. Chapter 3, Basketball Blues. A few mornings later, Ash and Lee had plans to meet at the neighborhood park again. Lee and her mother were running late. Ash sat on the bed next to Mom and Sam. She was excited. She couldn't sit still. You are full of energy today, her mother said. Ash spotted Lee and her mom across the park. She couldn't wait. She jumped up and ran to meet them. Lee noticed that Ash was carrying a basketball. I know what we can do, Ash said as soon as she got to Lee. Well, hello to you too, Lee teased her friend. I'm too excited to say hi, Ash thought. I thought of an activity we can do together. Now Lee was excited too. What is it, she asked. Ash held up a basketball. You can join my basketball team, she said, smiling. We are always looking for good players. I can teach you how to play. Then we would have to practice together twice a week. Lee wasn't too sure about Ash's idea. She had tried playing a few sports before. They weren't her thing, but she did want to spend more time with her best friend. Okay, she said, I'll give it a try. The pair headed over to the basketball courts. The first thing you need to learn is how to dribble a basketball, Ash explained as they walked. When they got to the court, Ash bounced the ball. She was very good. She even dribbled the ball between her legs. Lee said, it looks like fun. Ash passed Lee the ball. Lee tried to dribble, but the ball bounced off her foot and rolled away. She giggled and chased after it. She tried again, using both hands to bounce the ball high into the air. No, Ash told her. She took the ball from Lee and began dribbling. That's against the rules. You can only use one hand, and you keep the ball low on the ground so no one can steal it. Lee hopped over and took the ball from Ash. Like this? She asked. Then Lee ran away with the ball. Let's play keep away. No, Ash yelled, running after Lee. That's not how you play basketball. Lee held the ball high above her head. She twirled around and around. Try and steal it from me, she shouted. Ash frowned. She was frustrated that Lee wasn't playing by the rules. Let me show you how to shoot the ball, she said. Lee handed her the ball. Hold it like this with your elbows in, Ash said. Then push your arms up and flap your wrist, like you're waving bye. Ash shot the ball. It made a swoosh as it went through the net. Got it, Lee said. But she didn't shoot the ball the way Ash had. Instead, she spread her feet wide and held the ball with both hands. Then she lowered the ball between her legs and flung it towards the basket. The ball flew up and over the basket and landed in the field behind it. As Lee chased the ball, she called, "You're right. Basketball is fun." Ash shook her head. She mumbled, "Maybe basketball won't be our activity after all." So that is the end of chapters 1, 2, and 3 for Ashlee Tall and Ashlee Small. So if you enjoyed this book, please watch my second video, part 2, so you can see if the girls find an activity they both can share and enjoy together. Take care, and I'll be with you soon with another story.